Hello guys, welcome to our channel. This is Baby Roll. In today's video we are making a full build guide to update hybrid soul beast for roaming world versus world. This was already a build, but there's few changes that affected a lot how you play soul beast that came with the last balanced patch to the game. So this is already and was so this was and still one of the best ways you can play soul beast for roaming. And let me say for start, it got seriously buffed. Soul Beast is way better right now and feel as strong as the other classes, like can put up a good fight against anyone. It is very good. Obviously Soul Beast was already strong, but if you play it like glass cannon and stuff like that, but builds like that had a bit of a downside since we used to have only one bit and we are very limited in kiting options, while the entire game already got increased mobility, so Soul Beast mobility got a hit. However, you already probably know my opinion on bit swap on Soul Beast and how much I did not like it in the game actually. I described that as being a rotation base, like you're hitting on a golem in testing room for raid. You simply merge with your bait, use the skills, get value of the CC or whatever, and then get out, change bait, try to use skills before the 10-second go, and once the cooldown of the beast mode end, you merge again, try to heal or use whatever skill, try to leave it fast enough in order to change bit again. This behavior, I hated it so much. It rewarded a lot of who landed the first hit, who landed the first CC, stuff like that. And all that because of the 10-second cooldown. When first Untamed came to the game, it had the same 10-second cooldown and got removed. It became like a weapon swap, only 1 second. However, for Beast mode, for Soul Beast, this was not removed, this was not changed. So I wasn't very excited about the idea, but Arianet did not just give the bit back, which is strong, it is a buff, but like I said, I did not like it. They changed the trait Eternal Bond. So Eternal Bond right now, if you merge with your bit, it gives you another swap button. So inside bit merge, you get Eternal Bond as it is, and it works exactly like a swap bits button. It will trigger the traits, everything. And you can swap bits inside while you're merging to have immediate access to all those skills, completely removing this entire problem, or at least removing the worst part of it. However, this trait behave a bit weird. I'm not sure if everything about it is intended or not, and I like the way it works right now. I hope they don't remove what I'm going to discuss. So right now, every skill that you're gonna use from those beast skills will heal you for the number stated here. I have healing bar, so it's a bit higher, and it gives you this button. You swipe bits like that and use skills as much as you want. And once you leave beast mode, you have your bit outside, and swiping bits get resetted. I'm not sure if they meant for this behavior to work. Like as you see right now, I'm gonna enter combat, so I will have to reset this cooldown. So I'm inside combat. If I remove bit, as you see, there is a 19-second cooldown. If I enter and then switch bits and leave, as you see, the cooldown get resetted. So you have immediate access to whatever bit you want. So if you're an owl, you changed to wolf, you enter, you can change to owl immediately before waiting the cooldown to access the owl. So it gives huge liberty in how you want to use your skill. It's very good. And it's not overcrypt because they don't reset each other. The inside one, Eternal Bond, will always have its separate cooldown. It will not reset. Only the normal bit swap can reset. Now there is another interaction with this, kinda little bit overpowered. It can be a bit too strong. However, there is many builds in the game that can have access to too much stability, but this trait, Eternal Bond, give access to a lot of stability to Soul Beast. Because how it works with Shared Anguish. Shared Anguish is the only trait that Ranger have on bit swipes that does not have cooldown, which means all this reset mechanism will actually work with the stability. So let's see, I switch bits, I have stability. I enter, I switch bits, I have stability. I leave, I switch bits, I get more stability. So every move I will do from that will give me stability. There is obviously still down times, as you see, and I'm running Celestial Gear, so I have a lot of boon duration, so it's not that crazy like comparing to stability on movement for Warrior or permanent stability on Engineer, Juggernaut, or how Catalyst have access to stability right now. So there is so many classes can have a lot of stability. Guardians have insane amount of it. So I don't think it's crazy, and it only work with soulbeast. So it is a bit weird. They can add if they found this to be overpowered, but like I said, there's so many classes do that. So if you're gonna nerf some of it, you can nerf like everyone. But if they're gonna nerf it, I think they can add a small cooldown maybe or something like that. But it will not be a behavior you always keep in your head. So now you switch, but oh wait, I still have a cooldown that didn't work, so I don't get stability right now. So you can count on it and you will keep calculating. It's gonna be bad. So as it is right now is actually good. I don't think it's that big of a problem. They should not nerf it. However, it's another advantage and a huge strong point to Soul Beast play anyway. And right now, it gives to especially power players the ability to remove direct stance if they don't want it, or they don't get stuck with it completely, as once it's over they don't have anything else because they use other skills for damage or something like that, like Sikkim and quickness from quickening zephyr, or for condition build as you see me using sharpened stone. So those were like the biggest changes that will affect this build. Now let's talk about the build in details. So the build running the normal skirmishing, wilderness survival, and soul beast. In skirmishing, we get access to swiftness and fury in a huge amount, and this trait also gives us some damage to our critical hits and higher critical chance if we are flanking, which mean anything around your enemy except angle of 45 in front of them. And we running sharpened edges since we have a lot of critical chance. We are running celestial gear, so we have really good amount of critical chance, and we have a lot of fury because of survival skills with wilderness knowledge and also getting fury on weapon swap. So it's very decent. We're not running traps, and we have access to some vigor from this trait, so vigor is not really a big of a deal. We don't care about this much. Adding a little bit to our damage seem like a better choice. And we're running hidden barbs. You have to run this trait with every condition build. It's very difficult to manage a really strong condition ranger without it. It increases your bleeding damage by 33%, and we're running light on your feet since our second weapon is actually short bow. Obviously you can play this build with something like quickening draw or even vicious quarry to increase your damage, or have this extra stun and locking people down, especially in duels when you're only fighting one enemy anyway. But I like the increased duration, the lower cooldown in general, even if I'm stuck in short bow. And the piercing, since this is for roaming, not just dueling, so you fight outnumbered and you hit multiple targets and stuff like that. So I'm always using light on your feet. For wilderness survival, we're using Child of Earth, and we use Shared Anguish instead of we used to use Ambidexterity, but right now the stability is really strong. It's okay to lose a little bit of damage. And we're using Wilderness Knowledge since we have 3 survival skills on this build, which is Quickening Zephyr, Sharpened Stone, and the Child of Earth actually affected by it. So every one of them, every skill will remove 2 condition and will give us Fury and lower the cooldown anyway. And the minor traits giving us increased endurance regeneration, protection on dodge for a very high amount, more than 3 seconds because of our boon duration from Celestial Gear, and the protection heal us and our bit, which is a very good sustaining thing to have. Not only that, we will use protection for other sources. So for Soul Beast, we use Unstoppable Union since we can have access to protection and vigor and remove immobilize, chill, and cripple from ourselves once we merge. So it's a very good trait choice to prevent the enemy from locking you down. You simply remove those conditions and even protect yourself, again a little bit of healing with vigor to have more dodges, which mean more protection and more healing. Besides the other 2 traits, quickness doesn't matter this much. We have access to a lot of fury and we have a lot of damage and even access to some quickness, and there is no boons on our bit or to copy or anything. This trait is the best choice. And those 2 minors giving us extra damage when we have fury, which most of the time, and also extra damage and condition damage once we CC the enemy, and we can do that with concussion shot and also with brutal charge when we merge with a wolf. Besides, if you also land the warhorn, the days will trigger that trait too. So the other choices. Most of my footage that you will see, probably I simply forgot to change this one. I was still running Predator's Cunning, but however, the only poison source we have in this build right now is Poison Volley. Since it's no longer a good choice actually to run Vulture Stance, it is too short and arguably too weak to be a good choice while you would sacrifice the quickness, super speed, and the condition cleanse beside a second stun break. And you cannot share it with your allies or with your bait since we are running Eternal Bond, not leader of the pack, so you will always run Quickening Zephyr. You will not change any skill of those, which mean Predator Sculling is obviously worthless. So the best choice I found now is actually second skin. It will lower the condition damage that happened to you by 33% anytime you have protection. So where do we get protection from? Merging with our bit giving us 4 seconds and dodging giving us 3 seconds. So it will be something just to shave off some of the damage. It's not a big deal, it's not a huge thing that will be effective. You're not even running something like MOA stance or even Protect Me. However, you can run Protect Me if you want. The barrier and protection is huge, it's a stun break, even group if you're playing with others, but it will not remove conditions and it will not affect your damage. It will not help you do damage to other enemies like Quickening Zephyr. However, do not run the stance, it's not really worth it at this point. But I love the condition cleanse better, and even the super speed can help me kite better. So it's really up to you. At least we get more than 3 seconds in every dodge, and also merging will give us a little bit more than 4 seconds, which is a bit decent. And you can run Essence of Speed, so the quickness from Quickening Zephyr will prolong the stability from Doliac stance. This is probably are the best boons to focus on. Let's say you merge and you use the stability and then use the quickness, it will increase all of it, the protection and the stability, if you wish to use that. Now for the last part, I already explained in the beginning why I run Eternal Bond. I do not like running 2 bits with a rotation style, keep waiting for the skills to do, moving from one to the other, whether I'm gonna need it or the other way around, just so I get the most benefit of my skills. I don't like this behavior, and Eternal Bond is very good, and it can give you a little bit of extra healing since every skill you're gonna use will actually heal you for this number. It is a really good trait in addition to Soulbeast. The other option was Leader of the Pack. It was the one we used to play with before this build get updated, and the last one is Oppressive Superiority for extra damage, and even so, we count on both damage and duration since we play in condition, so it will add to all of our damage style. We play in both condition and power, but however, this is probably my least favorite with a build like that. Our burst come from one wolf back and hitting repeatedly with condition, not simply by increasing the power damage. So obviously, I'm going with Eternal Bolt all the time. Now for my gear, I'm running full Celestial with Condition Infusion from World vs. World. I'm running Legendary and Ascended gear. You can play it with Exotic, no problem. It will simply shave down some of the damage. I'm running Rune of the Pack because it gives me the highest stats possible. You can however run other runes. The rune is not really that crucial. You can run something like Rune of Speed even. You can run fireworks, stuff like that, but I wanted the stats and I feel already I'm kiting decently enough, so it feels just fine running back rune, and it can increase my boon duration a lot, so that's also a positive, as you see, 60%. So even the protection that we get to reduce condition damage, even how long the stability is, 9 seconds plus from Doliac stance, stuff like that, quickness, everything is just increased because of Rune of the Pack. But if you want to change it, it's not really the end of the build. It's not a big of a deal. Even my weapon are Celestial. Everything I run here in this build is Celestial. And I run cereals of cleansing and energy on both weapon. So every time I will change my weapon, the cooldown of it will be off because it's 9 seconds, and you switch weapon on 10 seconds, and I will get cleansed 3 condition and 1 extra dodge. 1 extra dodge mean also 1 extra protection and 1 extra heal. And I'm running short bow with Axe War Horn because skill 4 Hunter's Call work like magic with something like one wolf back. This is how basically the bursts work, as you see. And if you run even with the sharpened stone, the damage can be insane and so fast while hitting with your other skills. Besides, it works amazingly also with short bow, because short bow is on ranger is the fastest hitting weapon in the game. So every hit will trigger this because it's only a quarter of a second. So you immediately keep getting a huge burst. This bar damage, this condition damage, adding to it also what one wolf back do. Obviously, the loss of Leader of the Pack reduced the duration of all stances on us, which is something to be to keep attention to, because right now we only have 8 seconds to do that very strong burst. So even Doliac stance is 6 seconds instead of 9. It doesn't give you this tanky effect. And a lot of the time I forget how much condition cleanse that bear stance would do, so I think I'm still safe, but it already ended the duration and I don't pay attention. So keep in mind that if you're playing this build a lot, it is now lower cooldown for all those skills, or lower duration. And as you see, my trinkets are also all celestial, everything. My bed choices. So there is no perfect bed choice. It's not like the best. There's too many options depending on how you want to play it, whether you play it with people or not, whether there's support. It's really up to you. However, I experienced with so many bits. For a start, in the beginning I was using this dog, the Silvari one, the Fernhound. The earlier version before the patch, this was my bit. I don't change to any bit else, no matter what. If I play this build, this is my bit. Why? It giving me CC, it giving me a very short cooldown to kite with the skill, and giving me healing. Even unmerged, it can give healing and regeneration, and that regeneration scale of my healing and boon duration, not actually the bits. But the healing, it's 1000, it will not change. Besides, the bit itself have a CC, it's very tanky, so if I'm soloing a tower or a keep or anything with this build, it will take damage of me. I revive it and then let it go, and the enemy start hitting it again. So it was perfect. I never changed it anymore. This was the last version I actually played. So I tried this version with playing the other bird for actually damage. So the other one would give me a little bit of bleed and damage, and also more kiting. So you can use this skill to kite, and the other ones you can switch a bit and both bit and actually spam them after each other, and you create a gap between you and the enemy more around 2000 or more than that. However, I found this to be a little bit weaker than it should. So I always start with the bird like that and either chase or kite, give myself swiftness, and go with damage, and I can change to start healing and kiting. However, the game have a huge amount of mobility and projectile, and everyone can run fast and teleport and do huge hits with projectile and stuff like that. So I found that to be a little bit weaker than I would actually like. So I ended up going to the first iteration I made from the build, the first one I shared how to change between them, and I went with the snow wolf and the owl. So I start on the wolf actually, and I can CC unlucky people, and I have access to extra stun break that will remove all the impeding condition on me and give me 4 seconds of no power damage affected to me. So it can make me a little bit tanky to take more. With the protection that we get from dodge, with Doliac stance, you can handle yourself a little bit well. You can heal nicely, and you can change to have more kiting and also healing. So this is the last iteration I play. Obviously you can run it with something like smoke skill. You can run it with turtle to heal, unmerge, and create a projectile field. But if you run it with only one bit that can move you, I found it's very easy for people actually to lock you and get you down. They can catch to the mobility of only the wolf or only the owl. This is the best way I found it to be actually able to survive. Now there is also a few notes I want to share to keep attention to. For example, the healing of the owl. Those skills, mostly like this one or even the swiftness, you can use it and unmerge and will continue casting. I found a lot of people actually don't pay attention to this. So if you wanna use your bit immediately because someone's trying to lock you down, you want to chill them or something like that. Let's assume that this golem, for example, is the enemy. I can unmerge and actually start hitting him immediately like that. I can also do the same, let's say with the knockdown. As you see, the knockdown landed while I already was unmerged. So that's something to pay attention to, because all the skills of beast merging, if you cast anyone and unmerge, the skill will continue casting, and that can be a little bit helpful, as we said, if you want to use a skill and immediately go to the bit or prepare it for something else, or even switch between them. So like you already healed and used the skill and you want to use the wolf or get access to it again faster than actually 20 seconds, So you switch bit outside because, as we said, if you use this skill, the outside one actually get resetted. So immediately switch bits outside, and only few parts of 10 seconds left, so you can merge and use the skills faster than the fall cooldown. The food is as usual tropical peppermint cake and compact quality tuning crystal. However, this is a celestial build, count a lot on damage, the extra healing, toughness, anything you can get will help it. So if you have the money, use this one, the sesame oyster soup with ascended food, giving you 45 to all your attributes and health every second, exactly as tropical peppermint cake. So lastly, you can run this build without the axe. If you want to run something melee, you can run it with sword for more mobility, you can run it with dagger, for example, and everything has advantage and downside. For sword, you lose a lot of damage comparing to the axe. For dagger, you'll be forced to melee with no serious way to hold down the enemy except like healing under them for immobilize, or lock him down with short bow or CC immediately after that, switching to dagger. So let's say you're merged with wolf, you knock them down and then use dagger too and stuff like that. It's up to you, but for me, I like using it with the axe completely freely, keeping my distance all of the time if I can, actually, in any fight. Now for the burst itself, sharpened stone is already burst using some skills from axe while kiting, and moving short bow already do some serious damage, and your highest burst you can do is using one wolf pack. You can land sharpened stone with it, you can hit it with quickness if you go full burst, and know you can lock the enemy and even interrupt their healing with CC and stuff like that. If you're on short bow, even auto attack is fine. Press any skill, it will work like magic. All the skills are very fast to cast, and nothing even come to half a second, everything is quarter a second, so every hit will trigger one wolf back. It's very good to use it. However, in Axe Warhorn, the main burst comes from skill 4. Once you land skill 4, or you make sure you land it, you can trigger one wolf back after, or the other way around. It's not really a big deal. You have a decent window to land Hunter's Call anyway. And there is a good trick you can land it mostly. So let's say you're running like that and you give an enemy you're behind, so you can see them from behind you if you're using free camera, for example. Like I'm running from the enemy, I use my free camera and switch my character like that. I can land Warhorn 5 while even not facing the enemy, as you see. It doesn't matter, I can simply run it like that. So always, if you want the enemy to not expect it, give them their back and then land Hunter's Call. It can be a very smart, and most of the time it will help you land it easy. Also, skill 3 in Axe will make the next attack to your bit land quickness. So as you see here, it will put an effect on it. That effect that went away, it will trigger the weakness on enemy. However, if you're merged, you're the one who lands the weakness. But as you see, only one hit will trigger it. You don't need to do a second hit, because the blast itself, for some reason, trigger the hit and like the after effect of it. As you see, completely fine. The same thing for short bow 4. The next 3 attacks to your bit will do bleeding. However, it uses a condition damage of the bit. So basically, if you're the one who's using it, it will land a lot more bleeding. So usually try to keep it to yourself and use it, because the bits will be unreliable, you can merge it any second, and that damage will be simply gone to waste. It's not really a big damage, but it's at you, so try to at least keep crippling shot while merged, so use it, and even favorably Winter's Bite, also use it while merged, not give the effect to the bit. So that will be it for the video. I hope you liked it. If you have any other question, drop them in the comment. Don't forget to like, subscribe, maybe share it with your guildie, and enjoy. I will be having footage right now and put tips and everything on them to showcasing kiting on it, how high this burst can be, how fast you can kill, some just potential and mobility, like different position in actually fighting with it, to give you the feeling of the build and see how it actually works. That will be it for the video, and I'll be seeing you next time. Peace.
I'm cutting dice, look at these eyes, they're not here to please you. There was a time you could be mine. I don't need you to like me. Don't need you to like me. Don't need you to like. You can watch me go, 'cause I don't need you to like me. Don't need you to like me. Don't need you to like. You can say hello, but I don't need you to like me. Don't need you to like me. Don't need you to like. You can watch me go, 'cause I don't need you to like me. Don't need you to like me. Don't need you to like me. You can say hello, but I don't need you to like me. Don't need you to like me. Don't need you to like. You can watch me go, 'cause I don't need you to like me. Don't need you to like me. Don't need you to like. You can say hello, but I don't need you to like me. Don't need you to like me. Don't need you to like. You can watch me go, 'cause I don't need you to like me. Don't need you to like me. Don't need you to like me.
We spent our days on the coast of something beautiful. We got pulled into the tide of something real. Somehow I lost you on the way. I assumed you left me behind. Lifeless days and sleepless nights, so tired of it. I can't get you off my mind, can't forget it. Now I know what I've got to do is find my way back to you. Waiting on the day you would come back to me, hoping that I didn't burn a bridge I couldn't see. Now that you're by my side again, I'll never leave you behind. Lifeless days and sleepless nights, so tired of it. I can't get you off my mind, can't forget it. Now I know what I've got to do is find my way back to you. While I was dancing on my own, and
time. Don't leave me high and dry. Baby, you get me ice and fire. You're gentle and weak.
I see the light inside you, brighter than the skies. Hold on, just let us escape